Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is going to be slightly different. Although it's not related specifically to language, I do think its implications reach into language learning. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over what I learned in 7 days of not using social media. So before I start, I'd like to give some background information on why I decided to take this challenge upon myself. So most of you probably have seen the video done by Matt Vela, and he talks about why he quit social media for a bit, for 30 days he did it for, and what he learned. That kind of inspired me to take the challenge upon myself. So yeah, during the winter break, I decided that I'm going to be more productive with my time. I'm going to try something new, learn something new about myself, and I decided to quit social media for 7 days. I deleted every single thing, all the social media accounts. I decided to delete all the social media apps from my phone except for Messenger and WhatsApp, because those are two apps that I don't really spend a lot of time on in comparison to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, maybe even Facebook. So I decided to delete those apps. And yeah, I'm going to be sharing with you what I learned in those 7 days. So the first thing that I learned, maybe a pretty obvious one, but it's that I check my phone a lot less now after completing the challenge. And prior to that, I was averaging around like 4 hours, 5 hours maybe in a day. And even this is during school days, so that's kind of crazy when I think about it. Like, a lot of us don't realize how much time we spend on our phones every single day. And I really recommend that you guys check your screen time on your phones, see how much you're averaging every single day. But I know people who've got like 6, 7, 8 hours in a day, and like the most I think I've ever got was like 6 hours. But yeah, even for me, spending more than like 2 hours on a phone, I feel is like really, really bad. And I'm trying to keep it under 2 hours from now onwards, and eventually I'm trying to reduce it down to even 1 hour a day on my phone. The biggest thing that I learned was that I check my phone less now. The second thing that I learned is that I now check my phone a lot less. And prior to that, I was picking up my phone like almost like every 20 minutes to see what notification came on my phone. I know that you can change your settings to like turn off notifications, but even when I did that in the past, I realized that subconsciously I know the app is on my phone, so I would just open it up anyways, even if I didn't get a notification. Whenever I felt bored or distracted, I'd open up my phone, go to my social media folder on my phone, and just open up Instagram, for example, and did not waste time browsing reels, browsing stories for like the next 30-40 minutes. And so I decided that by deleting the apps completely off your phone, there is now like no urge to check. Like even now after 7 days, there's no urge. I don't want to really even see what's on it anymore, and I've become more conscious about what actions I'm taking on the platform. My next point, I'm gonna actually combine it with the point 3 and point 4, and it's that I feel less distracted and more focused. Now you may say this is actually like a really common sense thing, and it's kind of an obvious thing, but until you actually take action, nothing's gonna happen. Until you take action and decide that, okay, I want to save time and I want to focus and use my time effectively, you have to make that conscious decision. If you don't make that conscious decision, you're not going to do it. So when I did it, when I removed it off all these social media apps off my phone, after 7 days, I feel like I'm less distracted. Like I know my mind's not wandering, it's not feeling distracted, and I know that if I have work in front of me, I'm gonna set the time limit and I'm gonna work on it. And that's the biggest thing. Focus, being less distracted and being focused. Two things I've gained since quitting social media. The next point, another really obvious one, but it feels like I have more time. Previously, when I was using my phone every single day, averaging 2-3 hours of social media, it just feels like, you actually, when you reflect back on it, now when I think about it, like, did I actually gain anything from using those apps? Really, in hindsight, not much. No, I didn't gain much from using those apps. And so quitting them has allowed me to realize that I actually have so much time in the day, and made me again more conscious about how I use my time. And now that I feel like I've freed up time and I've got like 2-3 hours back, I'm able to focus that on learning languages, what this channel is all about, and also kind of the reason why I started this channel. I wanted to channel this time and energy into something productive, like making this channel to help people like you. And quitting social media honestly has been one of the best things I've ever did. I think I'm going to continue with this. Maybe not like ban it completely. I think I'll probably like use it on my computer maybe for like 5-10 minutes a day just to check messages, but that's it. Like, not to get into the habit of like scrolling. That's the biggest thing, to avoid that and just use it consciously. Like, know why you're on the app. Every single time you open it, in your mind you gotta know why you're on that app. What am I doing here? If you're being distracted, if you're being led astray, close it immediately. Delete the app. You know, put Chrome extension blockers on those sites and just focus on your work. Be more productive with your time. That's what I've learned from the challenge so far. Another thing that I learned after quitting social media was that I now feel less anxious. What I mean by this is that previously, you know, I would check and open whenever I get a notification. I'd open up, check what's on there, and then you close it, and then you feel like you're waiting for something to happen. You're waiting for the next response. You're waiting for the next notification from whoever it may be. And I think this is the thing that, like, even after, something I really recommend is like watching the Netflix show Social. It was a documentary, Social Dilemma, and also couple that with the Matt D'Avella's minimalism show. Just makes you like realize like what is essential and what's not, and how social media is really affecting our minds. I think, you know, in our parents' generation, they said smoking was like the worst thing that all these kids were doing. They said it was affecting them, and we know now that you know, it's bad for your lungs and, you know, can cause cancer and things like that. But are people spending the same time and energy and are aware about how bad social media is? Because I honestly think it's on the same level as things like smoking and drug abuse and, you know, being addicted to substances. So like, people, I feel like they don't want to talk about, and people know about it, but they don't want to talk about it and go into so much depth about it, because I feel with like social media compared to those other things like substance abuse, I feel like there's probably more like there's more money to be made on us being on those platforms. And a really interesting thing that I got from the Netflix show Social Dilemma was that it was a really interesting quote. It was like, there's only two industries where they call customers users. Like, the first one was drug use. Like, people who use drugs, they're usually called users and not customers. And the other one was social media users. Like, people who use social media, they're not called customers. They're called users. And in every single aspect of life, any other like store like Nike, Adidas, you're called a customer. You're not really called a user. So it's a really interesting perspective that I gained after watching the show. And lastly, my seventh point that I kind of reiterated throughout all these points was that I'm now more conscious of my time. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from quitting social media for 7 days. You're more conscious of your time. You're conscious of like, wow, in the past I was spending this time checking my phone, browsing Instagram and Twitter, looking at who's tagged me or whatever, and you realize that it's unimportant, man. It's just really so unimportant. You got bigger things to do, you got bigger things to achieve, and something that's not being talked about as much is really, like, if you really think about it, social media it's so obvious. They're taking away our time, taking away our lives, and they're really trying to dumb us down and like make us just mindless scrollers, mindless users, and we're not thinking, and we're not, you know, our attention spans are being reduced every single time we use these apps. Especially the worst one, I think, was TikTok, and I really had to get rid of that one, because that is really so addicting, because it's like a machine, like those Las Vegas like machine, you know, slots, whatever they call them. It's dopamine rush, dopamine rush, dopamine rush every single time, and you're hacking your brain and rewarding your brain, rewarding yourself for like not even working hard. And that's the biggest thing. I feel like in life, that's why I started learning languages, because I want the satisfaction of speaking in more than one language and broadening my horizons. But it's that effort and work you put into learning something in the long process that's going to be worth it. You know, things that are short term, quick dopamine rush, that's temporary. But being able to develop yourself every single day, learning new skills, whether that's language learning or whatever you are interested in, that's gonna make you a better person. And these social media quick dopamine rushes, they're temporary, and they're not gonna be long-term solutions and long-term things that bring you joy. So yeah, slightly different video today. I know it's not specifically related to language learning, but hey, I thought I would share this video with you on what I've learned since quitting social media and the benefits I feel I've gained from leaving it. And now I think I'm going to continue like as I said before, like consciously use it, maximum 20 minutes a day, 30-20 minutes a day, and just for messages really. And I just want to share what I learned with you, inspire some of you guys to give the challenge out yourselves. Big shout out and big thank you to the guy who inspired me, Matt Diavella, after watching his video. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, leave comments down below what your opinions are on social media. Is it taking away your time? Is it adding value to your time? I'd love to hear that. Tag me at Brown Sombrero on Twitter. And yeah, because over here at Brown Sombrero, we're all about learning languages, and it's about the process. See you later.